Good morning to you. LJ here, coming to you live from the LBC. And yeah, I wanted to share this realization I had as I was thinking about this course that I let myself flow through, this intuitive creation I made. I was intuitively guided to make an intuition course. So, yeah, but as I'm thinking about like people getting a hold of it and why I would want to share this with the world, why is this important? And this struck me as a new realization in this realm. So maybe this might be fresh for you, or maybe you already realized this. But, I feel like something like intuition in the past, for me anyways, had a sense of maybe a selfishness to it. Maybe it could involve someone withdrawing from the world, and maybe there's a danger to encouraging more people to be intuitive if it might create separation or more like a selfish energy that's not serving the world, or also maybe that I think it's been misunderstood as like this mysterious gift that only some people have. And that I definitely disagree with. I feel like intuition is part of being human, and we all have it as a part of how we're built to function even. And what I'm noticing is the more that we learn to tap into it, learn to tune into it, and learn to live from intuition, well, the better it seems to go. And the reason I can start to see that intuition not only is not a selfish thing, is not only not going to harm the world, but can amazingly help the world, especially now, right? Because if we embrace this idea that we each have this, whether you see it as non-spiritual, if we each have this uniqueness, we each have this heartful place of us, we each have this truth maybe that we were born with that we can refer to, that if we just started to think of more of us living from that, how much differently we might be behaving in relationships, in the world, in our creations, with ourselves, right? But then also, if you like a spiritual approach, that we could start to see that intuition could be our listening to that spiritual part of us and that spiritual part of life. So if you like to see it as your soul, the divine part of you, God within and around you, intuition being a place and a way to hear from that part of you, part of your life that maybe you were born with and that's always present and available. So there we could see even more so, perhaps, but really whether we call it living more, listening more, acting more from our heart, from our soul, from our true self, from our higher self, from divine within, from God within and around us, from the guidance of spirit around us, if we like that too, like ancestors, spirit guides, angels, fairies, you name it, that we could see that this is what we're listening to when we're listening to intuition, or living from that, or getting indicators from that, or deciding that we are making that a priority to become more intuitive, right? And, but maybe one of the reasons it's had this reputation for being like this mysterious, magical craft that maybe only some people, which really just some people probably have developed it more. Some people have used it more. Some people have grown up with people around them who were living like that and have had that model. So, but when we do see those of us trying it out more, it does have a magic to it, right? And it does often translate into a lot more synchronistic, serendipitous experience. So we can keep the magic in there of intuition and how that can create such a more magical carpet ride of life to be living more intuitively. But then you could also see that how much more loving, how much more divine, how much more authentic could we be in our relationships, in the world, in our creations, in our family life, in our work lives, in our communities, in our inner life, right? In our relationship with our bodies, in our relationships with our feelings. And that body and feelings are part of intuition, we start to see. And we get so many indicators from the body that are an intuitive way that our body's giving us guidance, right? So the body, totally part of intuition. This is part of what I love sharing in this course I made. And then so we start to see how, well, if you're not already, you could start to imagine how our yoga and meditation are the perfect ways to do this. The perfect ways to be tapping into intuition and learning to be more intuitive with ourselves in the moment and starting to bring that into life. So it's a way to create a lifestyle, but the dailiness really helps. And so you can start to see that anything you're doing under the name of yoga, remember it's all about connection. So anything that you do that you have realized helps you reconnect. Now you can start to bring in this specific idea of reconnect with intuition, right? So whether you're doing it in the journal, whether you're doing it on a walk, whether you're doing it while you wash the dishes, whether you're doing it in a pose, it is a place to do that and a way to start to tune more into that awareness. So we could start to see even like a meditative mind, a meditative approach right away is going to help us tune more into intuition and start to live more from that. Meaning like the more present we are in the moment within ourselves and with what's around us, the more able we are to be intuitive. The more ready we are to actually hear the intuitive thought, get the intuitive image come to mind, get that feeling and be present with it, have that knowing, or being present with what's around us for the intuitive guidance that we can get around us too, right? With seeing the perfect thing at the perfect time, or hearing a bit of a conversation that totally relates to what you were just thinking about, or hearing the perfect song that totally aligns with what you were just wondering. So the presence, just the presence alone, which sounds simple, but it's one of the huge parts of yoga and meditation that actually is pretty different for a lot of us modern people, right? If we look at how we're being, our default mode may be the actual opposite of presence, right? So, yes, you can start to see how just doing things that help you be more present and feel more present, just that is going to help you tune in, tap into intuition more and live from that. And that too, right away, to think about how might that benefit the world for more of us to be more present, to be more listening, to be more listening for what feels more like the heartful, soulful, aligned response. Right? Can you see how much this could help the world for more of us to be living from intuition? And also honoring that we are all so unique and we all have our own truths, right? I mean, damn, we're talking about world peace here. So yeah, probably the more intuitive we're willing to be with ourselves, the more we're ready to support that in others, in the people that we love, and knowing that, gosh, only they know what's right for them, right? And just supporting them in connecting with their inner knowing, inner wisdom, and living more from that. And yeah, that intuition totally involves action too. Intuition's an amazing part of creativity, I'm realizing. I'm excited to keep growing my understanding of that and sharing that and building that into my retreats and programs, because yeah, doing that inner listening and letting it be a co-creation even between you and your divine self when you're creating something, whether it's a piece of art or any form. I think anything could be a form of art as well, or whether it's a relationship or the family feelings. You know, it's all creativity, right? It's all part of our creativity. The more that we're doing that more from that intuitive place, probably the more powerful it's going to be, right? But it does involve acting on what we realize, what we know, what we feel. Taking that action is part of the intuitive life. But yeah, that too. If more of us were living more from that intuitive place, letting ourselves be taught more from within, as much as it can be beautiful to get guidance from those around us, and that, yes, often the teachers that we hear from are part of that intuitive guidance, just showing up right for us at the perfect time we could see. But yes, to start to realize it's not a selfish thing. It's actually a very universal way for us to change and save the world, right? With so many of us probably feeling disconnected, and from each other, from ourselves, and from our intuition, or even overriding intuition, and how that starts to feel and play out and manifest in different things, whether it's like physical symptoms or life craziness or conflicts or just feelings of lack of fulfillment, right? When we're like not listening to that inner guidance and not acting on it, that doesn't work either. So it is a whole picture thing. So we could just start to see that a yoga lifestyle, a more connected lifestyle, includes this, that every day you're building in ways to listen to yourself, to tune in like that, tap in like that, create some quieting so you can do that, and also do the energy work with the practices so you can keep freeing up old stuff, letting go of other people's stuff, so that you can tune in, tap in even more, right? And even raise in your vibe so that you get to be even more in that high vibe, divine vibe, whatever you want to call it, which just includes even more of that infinite wisdom, right? So, yeah, hope you can see where I'm going with this. Intuition, as I'm seeing it now, can totally save the world, right? Living from that place, loving from that place, coming from that place, and just knowing, oh, it's my daily practices that help me do that. It's my daily reconnecting with the perspectives that I want to be in. It's my daily reconnecting with the psychology I want to be in. And even just the remembering of this, you know, that we have that part of us and that part of life around us, and that we can live from that more for all of it, right? Yes. All right. Thanks for being with me. Love you all, and see you soon. And if you want to get a hold of that intuition course, I guess I could put a link under the video just to make it super easy so that you can get that if you're ready, because it's super doable, but I feel like it's powerful with great content and an actual practice for you to start using every day.